For years, viewers of This Morning felt like they knew Martin Frizell and Fiona Phillips. Their charm, their chemistry, their warmth. It was more than just television. It was something real, something deeply human. But now, in the face of devastating news, that connection has only deepened. Behind the polished smiles and professional poise lies a story of quiet bravery, of love enduring through the cruelest of challenges. Today, we take you behind the headlines and into the heart of a couple grappling with the ultimate test: cancer. Martin Frizell, longtime editor of This Morning, and Fiona Phillips, the beloved former GMTV host, met through the hum of television sets and studio lights. It was a classic industry connection, a quiet glance across the newsroom, a shared chuckle in the green room, and eventually a romance that neither of them expected. Viewers often saw only the surface, Fiona's bright energy on morning TV and Martin's behind-the-scenes reputation as a steady, creative force. But what they shared off-camera was even more powerful, a partnership rooted in mutual respect, laughter, and love. As Fiona's career blossomed, so did their family. The couple welcomed 2 sons and balanced their public personas with a fiercely private home life. And then, one day, that life changed. For some time, Fiona had seemed different. Those closest to her noticed the slight fatigue, the fleeting memory lapses, the moments of quiet when she would usually beam with vitality. But Fiona, always stoic and strong, brushed them off. It wasn't until a doctor's visit that the truth began to surface. Whispers of tests turned into long nights waiting for results. Martin, ever her protector, stood by her through each uncertain step. And when the diagnosis came, it wasn't what anyone had expected. Cancer. The kind that doesn't announce itself with fury, but rather creeps in with silent cruelty. It was in many ways Fiona's worst fear. Her family had already been burdened by illness. Her mother's battle with Alzheimer's had made national headlines. And now it was her turn. Fiona chose silence. At first, she didn't want pity. She didn't want headlines. She didn't want to become that story. But Martin knew better. He understood that while the world saw a media personality, he saw the woman he loved slipping into a private war with her body. He cleared his schedule. He stepped away from certain responsibilities. He became her anchor. They made a pact. No matter how bad the news got, they would face it together. And quietly, that's what they did. Months passed. Fiona, ever the professional, declined invitations, turned down interviews, and vanished from the red carpets. Fans speculated, but the couple remained tight-lipped. Then came the turning point. Fiona's condition reached a stage where privacy no longer felt like protection, it felt like isolation. Martin encouraged her to speak, not for sympathy, but to help others walking the same path. So she did. In a soft-spoken interview, she finally shared what she had been hiding: her cancer diagnosis, her treatment, her fears. She didn't cry, she didn't need to. Her strength echoed in every word. Martin sat beside her, gently holding her hand. It was a moment that silenced even the harshest of tabloids. Because in that instant, Fiona wasn't just a presenter. She was every woman who had heard those terrifying words. She was every partner who had stood beside the one they love, powerless but present. The response was overwhelming. Letters poured in, flowers arrived at their doorstep. Former co-hosts, fans, even rivals reached out with messages of love and support. But it was the everyday people, the viewers, the carers, the survivors, who moved Fiona and Martin the most. Messages like, "I watched you every day during chemo. You helped me feel normal again. Your courage has given me strength to keep going." Fiona would later say that those messages made her feel alive in a way she hadn't since before the diagnosis. And Martin? He finally smiled again. Intimate moments that never made headlines. Behind closed doors, the moments were quieter but more profound. Martin learning how to tie Fiona's scarves just right so they wouldn't irritate her neck. Fiona scribbling notes to the boys so they'd always know how deeply they were loved. Movie nights where they'd laugh at the silliest comedies just to keep the mood light. There were setbacks too, treatments that didn't work, days where Fiona couldn't get out of bed, nights where Martin silently wept in the kitchen, careful not to let her see.
But through it all, they kept going. Not perfectly, not heroically, just honestly. Fiona's story is about illness, but it's also about love. It's about a man who rearranged his world for the woman who made his world brighter. It's about a couple who turned towards each other when everything was falling apart. And it's about understanding that love is not always grand declarations. Sometimes it's just being there, every single day. Martin once told a friend, "You don't realize how precious the little moments are until they might be your last." That's the truth of their journey. Fiona continues to fight. Some days are good, others are not, but every day is a victory. Martin remains by her side, not as a producer or media figure, but as the man who loves her more deeply with each passing challenge. Her sons, now teenagers, have become young men shaped by resilience and love. As for Fiona's legacy, it goes beyond TV ratings or front-page features. Her real legacy is her courage, her choice to speak when silence felt safer, her ability to show vulnerability without losing her dignity. And Martin's? His is the kind of quiet heroism we often overlook. The caretakers, the partners, the ones who hold you when you fall and carry you when you can't walk on your own.
After a barrage of tests and referrals, the couple was called in for results. "It's cancer," the doctor said. The room fell silent. Fiona stared ahead, not blinking. Martin gripped her hand so tightly he left a mark. "We'd been bracing for something, but not this," Fiona later said through tears. The doctors confirmed an aggressive form of breast cancer. The prognosis wasn't immediately clear. What was clear, however, was that their lives would never be the same again. Fiona began treatment quietly: chemotherapy, radiation, hospital stays. She wore a headscarf not for fashion, but to hide her thinning hair. Martin stayed by her side for every session, every scan, every tearful breakdown. He kept working, kept the show running, but every moment away from Fiona was agony. The couple leaned on each other in ways few marriages are ever tested. Martin became Fiona's carer as well as her husband. He learned how to prepare special meals that wouldn't make her nauseous. He stayed up during the nights when the pain kept her awake. He canceled meetings, turned down media interviews, and focused entirely on helping Fiona fight. "He never let me see him cry," Fiona once said, "but I know he did. In the bathroom, in the car, on the train home from the hospital. He held me up when I couldn't stand." The love they shared, long admired by colleagues and viewers alike, became a quiet source of strength, a lifeline when everything else was falling apart. For months, the battle was private. Only their closest family and friends knew. But eventually, the pressure to remain silent and the mounting public concern pushed the couple to speak up. In a heartfelt statement, Fiona addressed her diagnosis. "I have been battling cancer in silence. It's a cruel, exhausting fight, but one I'm determined to win. I am so grateful for the support of my husband, Martin, who has been nothing short of heroic." The response from the public was overwhelming. Letters, flowers, and messages of support flooded in. Celebrities posted tributes. Former colleagues shared their love. The nation mourned the news, but also rallied in admiration. Months later, to everyone's surprise, Fiona appeared, frail but defiant, in a short pre-recorded message aired during a tribute segment on This Morning. Viewers were stunned. Her voice trembled but didn't break. "I miss you all so much. It's been a hard road, but I'm still here. And I want to say thank you to every single person who's thought of me, prayed for me, or sent love our way." Martin, watching from the control room, reportedly wiped away tears as the team stood and applauded. Behind the camera, the man who once produced the nation's stories was now the center of one. A story of love, endurance, and unimaginable strength. Though her treatment continued, Fiona and Martin began taking small steps to reclaim moments of joy. Walks in the garden, breakfast on the patio, reading old fan letters.
Martin later shared how the simple things became sacred. Quote, "We stopped waiting for better days. We started making better moments. A cup of tea together, a slow dance in the kitchen. That was our victory." Fiona's health update remains cautiously hopeful but uncertain. Cancer, as they know too well, is unpredictable. But one thing is clear: their bond has only grown stronger. Martin, ever private, has now become a reluctant symbol of enduring love. Colleagues speak of his unwavering devotion. Fiona, in her quieter moments, says she owes her life not just to medicine, but to Martin. "He saved me. He truly did." In a time when public figures often seem distant, the story of Fiona and Martin hit home. It reminded viewers that behind every smile on TV, there may be silent battles, and that real love isn't flashy. It's patient, steady, and quietly brave. Their journey continues, and whatever the future holds, Fiona Phillips and Martin Frizell have already shown us what it means to love, to fight, and to never give up together.